Sunday morning continues. Here's Norm Ordez.
All right. Hey, college football is in full swing now. Man, I was like glued watching college football all day yesterday. Every once in a while, I'd kick it over to MLB Network to get some updates. And man, there was a lot of great games on yesterday. So our next guest is Johnny DeQuisto, Johnny D. And, we've had him on the show quite a few times. And, John, good morning.
Good morning, Norm. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. It's nice and sunny. A little cool out here in Oregon today. Definitely a little bit of fall in the air now.
Oh, yeah, you can, like I say, you can smell it in the air,
I'm a spring and summer guy. I got to be honest with you. I hate it when the leaves are starting to fall off the trees, but this time of the year is awesome. I mean, you've got Major League Baseball and the minor leagues. Minor leagues are getting ready to kick into the playoffs. Major leagues are down to the last month of the season. Teams are positioning themselves, and then you've got the start of college football, and then next week the NFL kicks off already.
Yep. It's kind of fun.
It is.
You got everything all at once.
This is a tough time, though, to be a ball player. I mean, a baseball player. I mean, you're getting ready to go into, the minors. Getting ready to go into the playoffs, and then major leagues. You've got September call-ups, and so you got some of the normal, everyday players getting a couple of more breaks, before playoffs kick on. When September rolled around, when you were playing, I mean, talk a little bit about the month of September. I mean, at this point, where are you? Where is your mind at? Physically, usually, where are you at this time of year?
Well, usually, Norm, like in '73, when I got called up, which was September 2nd, which was just 2 days ago, I celebrated my anniversary. The feeling I had at that time was I'd won 16 games and thrown a no-hitter, and I'm thinking, God, I'm going to get called up, and nothing ever happened, and so at that point when I threw that no-hitter, I went into Rosie Ryan, at the Phoenix Giants, who was the president of the team at that time, and him and Ethan Blackaby were sitting. Ethan was like the GM, and I told them both. I said, "Look, I'm leaving. I'm going home." I said, "If you guys don't want me in the big leagues now, after I win 16 games in AAA, then there's something wrong with this organization." So I decided, I was going to pack up and go home since it was at the end of the year. I wasn't going to get called up, and no winter ball. I was just going to go home and take it easy. Well, I go home. I walked out of his office, went home to my apartment, and started packing my stuff, getting ready to leave. And they said, "You need to go to get a raise. You're going to have to go to San Francisco to go get it, and you're also getting called to big leagues." And I went, "Oh, well, isn't that a shift?" So I don't know if I forced the issue or if the issue was going to happen anyway because it was coming to the September 1st call-up time. It kind of all fell into one place. So off I go. I got my raise, and I got called to the big leagues. And I pitched the next day. So it was like all in one. Everything got thrown at me all at once, Okay, big mouth, here's your chance. You opened up your mouth, now you made your bed, sleep in it. So, your head had to be in a certain place. When you're doing well, you expect to get called up.
Right.
But when you're not doing so well, you don't know what the outcome's going to be. You got to look at winter ball potential. You have to look at where am I going to be next year? What do I have to do to improve my abilities to be on the big league ball club? All those things come into play, and your head just starts, filling up with all this. You have to sort it out, and then you have to go from there and work hard to achieve those goals.
Like baseball isn't mental enough as it is.
Yeah, it's 90-10.
Oh.
It's 90% mental and 10% physical ability. You know, everyone's got the physical ability or you wouldn't be there.
Right.
It's the mental aspect that you have to ascertain and be able to perform under conditions of in front of a lot of people, the focus. I think one of the best movies that depicted that focus was For the Love of the Game, Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
And to show that the focus, what really a ball player has to go through to focus to throw strikes in a game and not be disturbed by the fan base, you know, around you during a game or the screaming, the hollering or whatever. You have to be so focused you don't hear it.
Yeah, what was that he said?
And,
clear the mechanism.
Yeah, clear the mechanism.
Clear the mechanism.
And, you know, it's so true. It's so true.
So...
And that's also the cut above, too. That's
right.
The cut above.
Absolutely. And I sat down with Steve Springer. I don't know if you know Steve or not.
Yes, I do. I do know Steve very well.
Mental coach for the Toronto Blue Jays. So he was up here with Vancouver, and they stopped in at Salem Kaiser, and I was able to sit down. And I'm really starting to get into that mental part of the game. I mean, trying to understand it a little bit more. You know, I started coaching my 7-year-old nephew, and holy cow, man, you want to talk about mental. You know, trying to get these kids to play ball and, you know, their pitching motion, the same thing over and over, you know, and they're 7 and 8 and they got so many little things going on in their mind. And so I'm trying to understand where they're coming from, trying to figure out how I could help them best. And so I sat down with Steve, and man, he's pretty awesome. Yeah, some really good stuff. Yeah, some really good stuff. And, you know, a lot of your teams, I think, in fact, all of them provide mental coaches now.
Yeah, it's for the difference is that when we played, we had to sort it out ourselves, or we'd go to an older player to help us get that mental aspect. But we never had anyone to come up and tell us, you know, you're the best. Go out there, feel that you're the best. Don't take anything from anybody. You know, you've got control of this game. You know, to get you pumped up. It's hard to do if you haven't had. See, when you get to this high of a level of ball, you don't realize that. Hey, before I was winning every game practically. I didn't experience what losing was all about.
Right.
You know, I might go out and pitch a great game, you know, in when I was in like college or high school, and go out and pitch that game, and then all of a sudden, you know, I'm losing 1-0. Well, I pitched a good game, but when you get up into the big leagues and you get beat 10-5, and you haven't experienced that could be a very tragic mental blow to that particular athlete who hasn't experienced that type of failure. And then the recovery is, how do I recover from that? So when you look at that mental aspect, you have to have somebody there. If you don't know how to handle it, somebody there to lift you up again. And, you know, you don't want to look over your shoulder all the time. And you want to make sure that you're doing the right thing for your team.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. And, you know... It cracks me up, you know, like I said, baseball isn't mental enough. I mean, baseball is the only sport to where, you know, you fail but you succeed. You know, you look at all of our Hall of Famers, you know, hitter-wise, you know, the hitting average, you know, you hit 340 for your career, you're going to be in the Hall of Fame. And, you know, when you break it down, I mean, you're succeeding 34% of the time. I mean... That's tough.
It's one hit difference. Okay, you go three for 4, or you go 2 for 4. Okay, 2 for 4, you're hitting a lot less.
Yep.
You know, so you look at that, and one will get you in the Hall of Fame. 3 out of 10 times you hit the ball, you go to the Hall of Fame. 2 out of 10 times, you get sent down to the minor leagues, and that's one hit difference.
Yeah.
10 at bats.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Just one hit.
So you have a new book out.
Yes, Fastball John. What we set out to do, Norm, is we set out to create the most honest and self-aware sports autobiography ever written. I know it's a large task, right?
Right.
But, I think we really accomplished that in doing so. And, most sports books are about, hey, I did really good. I'm an all-star. I'm a Hall of Famer. I hit this. I did this. I accomplished this. But what we particularly pointed at was, how did you start your career? How did you grow in your career, in your life, and your life challenges, and battle all those demons all the way up to the big leagues, and then maintain your position as a big league pitcher for over 10 years? And what did you go through? The arm surgeries, the divorces, all the different things that you went through. No one's ever told that story before.
Right.
No one's ever come out and said, I went through all of this to maintain my career as a major league pitcher. Well, that's what we put in the book, and the story is from beginning to present time. And it's like, it's a really fun read. But there's a message in there for the younger kids that are going into baseball to see what you had to do to accomplish that feat and get there. It's a blueprint. It's literally a blueprint of how to get to the big leagues.
Interesting.
And it also tells about my story about what happened to me, too, and how I recovered from that.
And you do, and it is a story. And if people listening haven't checked out your story, they need to. And it's definitely a fascinating one. And before everybody talks about now you got Aroldis Chapman, throwing 105, 106. But before that, people talk about Nolan Ryan, but you were throwing harder than Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, exactly. And that was put in by Bill James. Bill James wrote about the mighty fastball, and in one paragraph it said in the era of Gary Gentry, Pete Broberg, David Clyde, Goose Gossage, and all this, Nolan Ryan, there was the fastest known radar reading by a pitcher in that era was for John D'Acquisto. So, i.e. fastball. It was clocked at 102.4, but that was with the old radar gun, which was 5 mile an hour slower.
Right.
Because they use a tuning fork, so at 5. So about 107.4, I was averaging till I got hurt.
That's nuts.
It is nuts.
That is a very uncomfortable at bat.
And I was around the plate too. Go figure, So it's like, I might have been wild, but I was wild up, not all over the place. I was just wild up, and with that low strike zone in the National League, that's why my walks were up a lot because of that high, my high fastball. But I really liked pitching against teams like the Pittsburgh Pirates because they were free swingers.
Yeah.
And I always did well against free swinging teams because they swung at everything.
107 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem possible, but I know for a fact that Chapman throws that hard, and
yeah, he does. I'll throw one at you too. This is a fastball. Steve Delkowski.
Okay.
Steve Delkowski recorded a 118 mile an hour fastball, documented. But he was not in my era. He was prior to my era. So, if you want to know who the fastest ever was, it is him. And you have another gentleman in that crew that it's been known that he threw the fastball, Bob Feller threw it at 108.
Right. I can't even
they
imagine.
were required. Yeah, it's done with lights and, things like that, and stopwatches and all that, but
Right.
and with an algorithm. But when you think about it, they threw hard. In fact, I talked to Bob Filler quite a bit about it, and he'd always put his arm around my shoulder and he goes, 2 of the fastest ever sitting right here. Are you kidding me? He goes, can you figure? He goes, I beat you by 0.8 of a mile per hour, and he goes, no one's going to even come close, but some have come close, and Chapman is one of them.
When you watch Chapman throw, I mean, he successfully throws. I mean, he'll go through pitch sequences to where he'll throw 105, 105, 103, 104, and 105.
Yeah.
I mean, there'll be like a 6 or 7 pitch sequence to where all of them are above 102.
Yeah, exactly. And then you'll see him throw something like 99.
Yeah.
Okay, and he'll go 99, 98, 99, 100. And then it's back up to 105. And, I watched him pitch when he was down here when the Yankees were in town. And I look at it and I go, God, that doesn't look like 102, but see, my eyes are trained more to pick up the speed of a ball than the normal human being. So I look at things and I can go, that's fast. But I'll tell you what, Noah Syndergaard, he looked faster. And you know why, Norm? He had a downward plane on his ball.
Right.
And when the ball goes on a downward plane, I believe it looks faster.
Deception, yeah.
Yeah, it's deception. And you look at Chapman's ball, and Chapman's ball was kind of a downward plane, but it was flatter than Noah's. So it was very deceiving, because he throws more from the side. He doesn't throw from the top.
Right.
He throws from the side. So there's a little bit of a difference. And also with the new technology, the tracking that they do on PitchFX, it picks up the ball a little bit differently, and through the algorithm of the computer.
Right.
So it determines the speed that way. So how fast would I have thrown with PitchFX? God only knows.
That PitchFX, I mean, what they're doing now with stats is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a tremendous thing that they've brought to the game. With all the technology-based items that are out there today, that's probably one of the best. And the whole thing is that now we've when we first started, this is kind of a funny story. When we first started with PitchFX, the birds would fly through our area, our zone, and they would register on the computer. So we'd be getting 65 mile an hour blurbs on the screen, and so we had to filter that out.
Right.
But we did, and now it's isolated, and it's pretty not pretty accurate. It's very accurate, and it's one of the things that we've been working on the experimental stage with MLB that's turned out to be an interesting part that gives the fan another view of what the game has to offer and the excitement.
So they're talking about some changes in Major League Baseball coming, and one of the changes is quite possibly the length of the season. And 162 games. 162 games is a lot of games. And, when you add spring training, then playoffs, and then, some of the guys, you got, instructionals, and then they go on to play in, winter ball somewhere. They're playing upwards to 220, 230 games.
Easy.
That's a lot.
Easy.
That's too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a firm believer. And also, remember, when you go into the World Series, here's another play. You go into the World Series, and it's 28 degrees outside. The guys are freezing their buns off, and it's making it difficult to have a fair shake on a game.
Right.
Unless you're playing in an indoor stadium, okay? So the advantage will come in, to the home team, or, it'd be a better playout. But if you shorten the season and you take it down to, say, instead of 162 to 132, just take 30 games off of the tail end, all right? You take 30 games off the tail end, the season's ending right August 31st. Okay. It's over. Now the playoffs will start in September, where the weather's still good. So now it's a fair shake, clear around the system, and plus it doesn't really conflict with the football too much because it's in the preseason format, and then when the World Series starts being played in September instead of October, it gives you a better look at the baseball, and you'll have more attendance and more people looking at the game.
Right.
Okay, so there's a lot of benefits into that to shorten the season just 30 days or 30 games.
It's a lot of money lost, though.
It's a lot of money lost, but you're going to get more viewers seeing the World Series because of the fact that the football season really hasn't kicked off yet.
Do you think?
And it's World Series and playoffs, so you're going to get a lot of viewers.
But the Major League Baseball owners, most team owners, probably none of them. I don't think are going to be willing to lose 30 games. because maybe 15 of those will be at home.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
that's the shake-off. But you also have your pitchers will have more longevity because they don't have to pitch as much.
Right.
There's a lot of positives to this. The revenue side can be brought up in many different directions, predicated upon the fact that even though you got 30 less games, you can add more advertisement during the games, so you can make up the difference there if that's where you're thinking you're going to be losing your revenue. The fan base and attendance, that's comme ci, comme ça. It's gonna come and go anyway.
Right.
And so the main thing is the revenue from the advertising. That's the only thing that you would lose is those 30 games of advertising. But then you're kicking into the playoff season, so that the ad base is still going to be up that far, and you could possibly add with a shorter season, maybe the wild card games going to a two out of three instead of a one game split on the base. So now you can pick up the difference there with more of a base on the wild card games, giving the teams a chance to heal up and get ready for the knockdown drag out coming up.
That is true.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to pull up the difference.
What about shortening up spring training a little bit? Do we honestly need all that time for spring? For pitchers, yes.
Well, pitchers can come in early, like they've been coming in early, and they can throw on the side. It's just not the same when you're in a game.
Right.
That's the difference. And yeah, you could get the pitchers. Well, I'll take Chris Sale, or Chris Sale, however you want to you want to pronounce
Chicago
it. But,
White Sox, yep.
Yeah, for the White Sox, he doesn't pitch in a spring training game until near the end.
Right.
He does his own workout. He preps himself. He gets ready. He does simulated pitching on the mound. He works with his pitching coach, and they get ready. And they get ready in that aspect. He knows what he has to do. And most pitchers in the big league should know what they have to do. But, it's all training related. I'm going to get myself in shape. I'm going to run. I'm not going to lift weights, and I'm going to do a lot of stretching, and I'm going to throw myself into shape, but I'm going to run and condition myself to take the rigorous format of being a major league pitcher. It's not done that way. The ones that have success do it that way. Right. The ones that don't have success do not do it that way. And that is part of spring training. It's really predicated to the pitchers more than it is to the hitters. And you can go in a batting cage and crank up the machine to 100 miles an hour and start taking BP if you want. It's just not the same. So you got to have the games. Plus, they've got to decide who's going to make the team, and that's the other part of it. You got to have that 30-day period to figure out who's going to make the team, who's going to step up to the plate, who's, no pun intended, but who's going to step up to the plate and take a position away from somebody or be the new star of the club.
That is true.
So there's a lot of tangents there.
So 132 games. What about they're talking about what, 154? So cut
That's
8 games off.
That's what they're talking about doing. And 154 from 162 is only an 8-game difference.
It's not that big of a difference.
No, it's not. It's not. But it would take it to the end of September, the last week of September, which would then go right into the playoffs with the wild card. And there's really not much of a change. If you take it down, probably say, okay, let's don't go 30 games. Let's go half of that, 15 games or 16 games. You got 8 on the road, 8 at home. Okay. If you take it down 16 games, it might be a little bit better and more palatable to both advertising and to ownership about losing revenue, but then bump up on the front side, on the playoff side, like I said earlier, the 2 out of 3 wild card game. Best 2 out of 3.
So
all right, you win 2, you go.
Right. So taking it down 16 games would put it at about the equivalent to a AAA season at 144.
Right. Exactly.
And so
you're matching it.
That's doable.
Yeah, it is doable because they're already doing it. So they've had the experience with AAA ball. Why not do it with Major League ball? Keep it uniform.
Absolutely, and they get through the playoffs. Of course, they don't.
Yeah,
I don't. They have the same format.
Then you can alternate. You can bring up the kids earlier. You can bring up the kids earlier, 16 days, 2 weeks earlier, instead of on September 1st. You're going to bring them up August 15th, which happens to coincide with the trade deadline.
Yep.
Okay.
Interesting.
So you have a lot of options there. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Interesting. No, I mean, something needs to be done a little bit different, and I don't know if that's the answer. I do know that that's what they're talking about. They're talking about 154, but 154 isn't that much of a difference from 162. No. And so, I mean, if you're going to do something to change things a little bit, make a difference. And so why not start at a 144 or 146?
Yeah, I think so. And you could possibly, if you wanted to, it's kind of tough to start the season early because of the East Coast areas that come into play. So you've got to really take that into consideration. So spring training is important to the point to where it stalls for the weather a little bit. Okay, but 144 games is a lot of games also.
It is. It
All
is.
Right? So yeah, it is. And when you think about it, it's something to really look at. It's something to really look at, and a possibility. They've been doing it, like I say, in the PCL and the International League and all the AAA leagues and AA, all the minor leagues. They all run that same schedule. So why not have the big leagues run that same schedule? But see, they're going to say, well, we want to bring our guys up at the but August 15th they can come up for the 30-day period, 40-man roster. From August 15th to the end of September. Have fun.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, why not?
Now, what do you think of actually of it happening? What do you think of the chances of this happening?
Slim and none right now, unless somebody's listening right now that's got, like if Rob Manfred's listening right now and he takes it to heart, and says, hey, that's a good idea and runs with it, that's when it would happen. But they're in the middle of a collective bargaining agreement right now, and Tony Clark is negotiating that with the ownership. So, you've got a lot of that going on right now, and you don't hear anything about it. Anything. It's been quiet.
And why is that?
So well, I think they're accomplishing a lot. They're agreeing to a lot of things, and they've agreed not to put it out in the media, and and I respect that.
Absolutely.
I think that it should stay. I think it should stay away from the fan, and that it's a private thing of the business itself, and the business clicks accordingly to when it's silence is golden, in my opinion. So if you throw something out there, you better be willing to back it up or double down on it.
Right.
And you better have factual information why. Okay? Just my opinion. But they kept it out of the media because it is a very important issue that needs to be attended to, and there's some important issues that they're looking at to make changes with. It's a smart move. It's a smart move when you really look at it.
It really is.
Yeah.
And so...
time after time, we always look at smart moves. I think that's one of the smarter moves that Major League Baseball has done, is kept it out of the public eye.
Right.
Because it creates animosity. The fan doesn't like to hear it. You want to, the accelerated contracts, the benefit plan, the things that benefit the player. The fan wants to know what the fan can benefit from. Lower ticket prices, lower prices at the concession stands. If I can pay less for a hot dog, I might eat two.
Right.
Or if I can go in and buy a season ticket and get one free, I might buy four. So you boost up your season ticket operation from 17,000 fans to 34,000 fans, and you fill your stadium and they buy more food.
There you go.
It's a chain reaction. It's classic economists. How they go, the economists would love that theory.
Right.
To death, and I think baseball would benefit from a theory like that. They do package deals now, but other than that, they should start thinking about the season ticket packages that would allow a family of four to go to a game. If I'm a dad and I want my legacy to continue and the legacy of baseball to continue, I want to take my two kids to the game all the time for free.
Right.
Mommy and Daddy will buy the tickets, but the kids are going along for free. And I got a family of four at the game that have to eat.
Yep. And
interesting concept.
It is. It really is, and for a family of four now, there's a lot of people that can't go.
Exactly. That's why TV is important. That's why the advertising segment of baseball is very important.
So this season, let's chat a little bit about this season. And so, are there a couple of teams that you're kind of disappointed in how the season has gone, and are there a few teams that you're surprised by?
Well, everything's kind of set in what I thought would happen. I am surprised at the Diamondbacks that they didn't do better than what they were slated to do.
Right.
Because I really like the team. It's a young team, yes, but the kids know how to play the game, and I think that their pitching staff kind of let them down a little bit this year, and that they have some very hard-throwing pitchers. Object is the balls are straight,
right.
Easy to hit. They don't change speeds enough, and they don't throw enough breaking balls. And when they start making their pitches are right down the middle of the plate. They try to hit the corners, but, you got to have movement on your ball. You can throw as hard as you want, but if that ball doesn't move, and a good example is Bartolo Colon, who's still in his 40s. All he throws is a fastball, and it goes from left to right, and he moves it around, and he goes 5-6 innings and gives up hardly anything.
Right.
Throwing 89, maybe 86, 87, topping at 89, maybe 90.
I love that, man.
I've noticed. Yeah, things like that I've noticed in teams, and the Mets I thought would do better.
Right.
The Dodgers have surprised me, and I think Brian Roberts is doing a fabulous job keeping that team moving, and he made some moves that were important to the team's chemistry in Puig being sent down to the minors. Things like that, are very important to team chemistry. The Giants, my Giants, love my Giants. Those guys have had everything thrown at them but the kitchen sink, and they still come out battling, and they still come out in the mix. They're still there. They're not going to give in. They never do. They might go all the way down to the wire again. But, they've got the best skipper in baseball, Bruce Bochy.
Hands down.
Hands down. The best. The man, in my opinion, and I don't care if he's listening, he's a genius. Okay? But he's a genius in a way that he thinks ahead. He thinks ahead like 10 pitches ahead. 10 situations ahead. His mind is always going. That's why he sits there calmly looking at the game, thinking what's going to happen, what he has to do. That's why they win a lot of games when they have nothing.
Right.
He's beating you. The team can play, but he's beating you. They don't have a home run hitter per se that's hitting 30 dingers.
No, Posey's down. His power numbers are down a little bit this year. Yeah.
Yeah. And you look at it, I think 14 or 15 home runs is leading the team. But if you look at the averages of the ball club, they're all in the high 270 or higher averages, which tells me they're getting a lot of extra base hits, hitting the ball the opposite field, going to the gaps, driving runs in, doing things like that. So, I really like the Giants. I'd like to see, the best anticipated move that I saw this year so far goes to the Yankees. When they cleaned house and brought all the kids up, and they're playing the kids, and they ended up turning on that machine, it was like, get out of our way. We're here to play ball.
Absolutely.
And that was a big surprise to me too. Was the Yankee system? Of course, they do have the best farm system. Listen to me say this: they have the best farm system in baseball right now.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
And Norman, they're going back to the old school methodologies. Okay, we're not going to buy the free agents anymore. We're going to build from within. The Washington Nationals are like that. They're building from within. Look at the results. And the Nationals are a great team, managed by Dusty Baker. All right? And having Dusty go to that ball club and taking charge, because Dusty's an educator. Mm-hmm. Dusty can deliver the message of what he wants, and he can put the players in the right spot. And there's another man that is very smart about how to play games and how to use a bullpen. And that rap he got in Chicago about burning out a bullpen, it's because that was the only opportunity he had to win games, was he had to put the guys in to stop the bleeding.
Right.
So, it's like when you have good starting pitching, your bullpen's pretty safe.
Yep.
So, you look at those aspects and who's going to come out and shine. And I got to say the Nationals, I got to say the Giants, the Dodgers. You're going to look at those teams. In the American League, Kansas City, they're looking pretty good. Cleveland's trying to hold on. Boston's being strong. Toronto's looking good. those are my teams.
Baltimore, yeah.
But yeah, Baltimore's in there in that mix too. They had a down spurt, but they're coming back strong. So and that wild card is going to be the difference in that short 1-game series, man. It's like look out, anything can happen. And we saw the Giants go wire to wire when they went wild card, and in 2014.
And it could happen again this year.
Yes, it could. It's got those earmarks again, as we say.
It does. And as a baseball fan, well, not only as a Giants fan, but as a baseball fan, I'm excited for where the Dodgers are right now, for what they've had to go through, and they're sitting 2 games up on the Giants right now. And people are, Dodger fan is, well, hey, we're 2 games up. You know what? The Giants are where they're supposed to be. That's where Bruce Bochy wants them.
Yeah.
He doesn't want them 2 games up on the Dodgers. He wants them 2 games behind. Because
they'll try harder.
and honestly, it doesn't matter. I hear people talking about getting in on the wild card. You know what? If you're a player or a coach, it doesn't matter how you get into the playoffs. You could back in, man. I mean, you're in the playoffs. Whether you win the division or you are one of those wild cards, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's the way the players look at it.
It's like hockey. Just got to get in there first.
Absolutely. And so, are there a couple of players that have really caught your eye this season? Maybe somebody like David Ortiz, the season that he's put together is amazing. And
Well, I'll tell you what. Right now, I absolutely have the utmost respect for these 2 players, and they're both third basemen. One is in Colorado, and the other one is in Arizona. Jake Lamb.
He's put together a good season.
He put together a great season, and I saw Jake when he first came up, and he caught my eye. He had that swing like Freddie Lynn, that sneaky, powerful swing, and it's just a nice, easy going type guy that plays decent defense, and and his decent defense became impressive defense.
Right.
He's gotten really better. But Nolan Arenado is like, oh my God, this guy's like a human Kirby vacuum cleaner. Don't hit it down to him. He's going to catch it and throw you out, and he's going to beat you. He's going to beat you at the plate. The most all-around third baseman I've ever seen in my whole career.
Wow.
I'm throwing a lot of them out there. I'm throwing out Brooks Robinson. Wasn't in my career, but Brooksy was probably the best that was out there. And then Greg Nettles wasn't too bad either.
Yeah.
But Nolan Arenado is probably one of the best third basemen I have ever seen come a long time coming. Is here. And very impressive. Another guy that I saw that came from the bottom and came back to the top again was Paul Goldschmidt here in Arizona.
Right.
Paul was hitting $189. I swear, I was looking at his stats going, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. But they were walking him. They were pitching around him. They wouldn't throw to him. And it put him in a tailspin. And then all of a sudden, he made the adjustment. And boy, did he turn it on. He's hitting over 300 now. So, that's coming from a long way. But when you're walking a lot, you can pad that average up pretty quick.
Right.
But still, Paul had to hit the ball. And, he's been solid all year. The other thing is getting A.J. Pollock back here in Arizona.
That's huge.
As soon as A.J. showed up, they started winning again.
Yeah, that's huge. He is huge in that lineup.
Oh my God, he's like he gets the best jump. He gets the best jump off a baseball at center field that I've seen, and he's fast, quick, knowledgeable, good instincts, good arm, and can hit. Hey, it's a 5-star player in my opinion. He can do it all. Steal bases, he can hurt you. losing him for most of the year hurt the Diamondbacks a lot.
It did, and with him, I don't think they would be in the position that they're in right now.
Correct.
And
You're
so
absolutely right.
he was definitely the game changer when he went down. That was unfortunately the Diamondback season right there.
Yep.
And
then there's another individual that I like in Houston, Tuna. Jose.
Oh,
Can you
Altuve.
see Jose?
He
Came
is
from the bottom and came back hard.
He is one of my favorites. I mean, all 5'5" of him.
I love this kid.
You know,
Yes.
the Astros are a fun group to watch. You know,
yeah.
with Correa and George Springer and Altuve
they got a fine little ball club there. Yeah, they're another team that I look at. If they're in the hunt too, I guess. So they're still there.
Yeah, if they didn't have that rough start to start the season with, they
might be running away with it right now, Norman.
It's very possible.
Yeah, because Brent Strom's their pitching coach, and I've worked with Brent Strom in the past years, and Brent and I are on the same boat about pitching, and Brent's a great man and keeps that staff pretty well tuned. And, to have a start like they did, losing games by 1 run, and, they just had a string of bad luck that was from here to tomorrow.
Right.
But now that's kind of settled down a little bit. The true colors are starting to come up, and that's a pretty good ball club there.
Yeah, and they're set for a while now, and so
quite a while.
Yeah, they're going to be up.
That's the other thing you're going to start seeing, Norm. You're going to start seeing players staying in one spot.
I hope so.
You're not going to see. Yeah, you're not going to see like the Giants keep their players.
They do, yes.
Okay, so we know who they are. That's why we know who they are, because they're there all the time. And very seldom do you see those guys get traded off. You keep your nucleus, you keep your body of players that you think are going to get better through time. Instead of taking one out, getting rid of them, trading them off, you can't do that. You got to keep your nucleus together. Let them develop together. Let them be the team that they're going to be, like Kansas City. Kansas City's like that.
Yep.
They all played together in the minors. Now they're 6-7 years into the big leagues now. They've all been together. Names we can remember.
Yeah. Whatever happened to the days of the George Bretts and the Mike Schmidts, the Cal Ripken Juniors, playing for 20 years with one team. Now it's a rarity now, and
Yeah, it is. It is.
So hey, where can we find your book?
Well, you can buy the book on AmazonBooks.com, Amazon.com. It is available on pre-order right now through Amazon. You can pre-order the audio version or the Kindle version through that segment now. The book is for hard copy, will be available on September the 13th, and that will be coming up here next 9 days.
Yep.
So you can get it on Amazon also, and it'll be launched at that time. And I will be doing book signings. I've got a book signing in San Diego on the 24th and 25th. And we're finalizing the last couple of things for a book signing in San Francisco on the 15th for Italian American Heritage Day.
Oh, nice.
So I will be available to sign books for people who want to bring them to the park. The one in San Diego will be at the Pennant. It's my old hangout when I played for the Padres. It's going to be on South Mission Boulevard in San Diego, and that'll be from 1 to 4 on the 24th and 25th. And I will be doing Kurt Bavacqua's show after those signings.
How's old Bavacqua doing?
He's doing good.
I love that guy.
You know what? He hasn't changed one bit.
I love that guy. You talk about a scrappy player.
Yeah.
He was somebody that always got the job done. He wasn't necessarily the best.
That's why they call him KB Hits,
And he didn't do it the prettiest, but he got the job done.
Yes, he did. He was my favorite pinch hitter ever, and I tell him that all the time. That keeps him in line. I'd say, if anyone was going to pinch hit for me in a ball game, it better be you, KB. And he goes, "Thank you for the plug. I appreciate it."
That's awesome.
And we've been good friends. We've been good friends ever since I was with the Padres.
Right.
And Kurt and I are still friends to this day. And he's just a good guy, and I love Kurt. Kurt and Randy Jones, the three of us get together and the stories start flying, and it's part of the book. It's part of the book.
I've chatted with Kurt a couple of times about having him come on the show, and so I still gotta get him in and get him lined up. But
I'll get that worked up for you, bud.
Hey, that sounds good. Hey, I've got a handful of baseball cards of you that I would like you to sign, and we'll do some giveaways. And so we got Christmas coming up, and we're going to do Brian and Norm's 15 Days of Christmas again this year. And so I'll shoot you a message on Facebook or shoot you a text, and we'll figure out how to get those to you and get those signed, and we can start giving some of those away. So
that'll be fine. We'd love to do that for you. You know that.
Fastball John, new book. Check it out. You know what? I'm telling you, it's going to be great. And there's a handful of books that have came out. Jim Campanis Jr. just had his come out.
Yeah.
And it's doing well, and I love hearing stories of, back in the day, and it's great. It's a good time, and it's a good time in Major League Baseball.
There's plenty of stories and 11 Hall of Famers that I tell stories about, and they're all good, and it really is a good read. I'm not just saying it, but there's been a couple of guys that have come out and said it from like the Boston Globe. Chad Finn, one of them, gave us a good plug on it, and also Rob Nyer said that there's two to three lifetimes of stories in this book. So
nice.
It's got some good ones in there.
And keep that countdown coming on Facebook with the music too.
Oh, it's coming. It'll go all the way down to 1. You know that.
And I'll tell you what. You had me here earlier. Was it this week? I think early this week, and you had Driver's Seat, and that is on my baseball field prep list. And so when I prep baseball fields, that is one of the songs that'll pop up. And so
that's a great song.
It's a great song, and a lot of people don't know about it.
No, they don't. But when they hear it, they do know about it.
They do. They're like, I know that song.
And see, that's what we did with the book. We combined the music with the stories and the chapters.
Nice.
It's a different touch. And it's a fun touch.
Sounds good. Johnny D, hey, thank you for coming on this Sunday. It's always a pleasure, and we'll do this again.
Norman. Oh, absolutely. Anytime. You know that, brother.
All right. Hey, go Giants.
Yeah, baby.
That's right. All right. Hey, you have a good rest of the weekend. Enjoy your 3-day week.
All right, you too. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
Sounds good. Bye now. All right. Johnny D. John D'Acquisto. One of my favorites to come on the show. And, he continues. He's got some great stories. Brian, you got any takes here?
He's great. Once again, love hearing from Johnny D. He's awesome. He's always got good stories, as you said.
Always.
Book coming out. Can't wait for it. And good stuff. Why not?
And the thing that I really like about Johnny D is when you ask for an opinion, you're going to get an honest opinion. He doesn't beat around the bush. Kind of like Jim Wolford.
Yes. No shortage of opinions, which is awesome.
Which is good. I'd rather hear it that way. And, he threw it out. 132 game season. I don't know about cutting 30 games off. I do like the 146 game season. But once again, it's all money.
Surprised we don't have a 200 game season, to be honest with you. Then you have asterisks over everything. 72 home runs, 2 asterisks, I guess, with that. But go ahead. Sorry.
I'm Norm. Hey, college football kicked off. Brian, were you surprised by any of the games?
Eastern Washington over Washington State, surprising.
Gage
There you
Gerbrud
go,
of
good one.
McMinnville played for me in the 5th grade and threw for 475, 5 touchdowns. He
TDs,
ran
yeah.
for a 6th, almost 600 yards in total offense
Not bad.
for the McMinnville kid.
Not bad at all.
I was surprised by. All right, so the ass whooping that Alabama gave USC.
Yes, very surprised.
Holy cow, 52-6. I thought USC would make a game of it,
Well, a couple other surprising games out there. Wisconsin,
knocking off LSU.
and
Oklahoma went
yeah,
down to Houston.
yeah.
How about that?
Houston's a good team this year.
Houston's a great team.
It's fun stuff, fun things going on.
The Ducks won.
Yeah, they sputtered to start, but they got it done.
The Beavs played okay and lost at Minnesota.
Minnesota's not very good.
Minnesota's better than you think.
No, they're not.
And so, who else? What else do we have? Linfield kicks off this next weekend, next Saturday.
We'll wait till playoffs. Talk about them.
And then Army won.
It's here.
Army won. Navy. Navy had an interesting story. Their starting quarterback goes down in the first quarter, and they pull a kid out of the stands. Their 4th-string quarterback out of the stands. And I remember seeing the video of it, and the head football coach had no clue that happened. So somebody's going to be in trouble there, I think.
In trouble, or they got the job done, I guess. Cool thing, Nebraska. Do you see what they did?
Nebraska with the missing man.
You posted that. That's right. You were the one who posted that. That was
with
cool.
the punter.
Yeah.
That one was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That one was way cool. And you got to give props to Nebraska.
Riley's the man. I still wish you were here at Oregon State. to be honest with you.
I do. I really like Mike Riley. I like, not only is he great as a coach, but he's a great individual and a great human being. He's far from perfect, like we all are, but good coach. And and you got more games coming on. My UCLA Bruins lost to Texas and A&M down there at Kyle Field.
Sorry.
That's all right. It was a hell of a game.
Yeah, it was.
Couldn't tell you what happened in baseball yesterday, but I can tell you what happened in college football.
Mariners lost.
Yeah, they're in a playoff hunt though.
Yeah,
Kinda.
5 games behind wild card.
They're done.
Yeah, thanks.
Doggone it.
All right, more football.
All right, hey Brian, where can we hear? You were up in Wilson High School with McMinnville Grizzlies. Tell us a little bit about that game.
It was a great game. You've got a good Wilson team. Well, they were last year, made playoffs. A lot of graduates, but they were expected to be a decent team this year. And then you have the Grizzlies, who they really weren't expected to do anything.
Bunch of question marks.
And they came out and they throttled Wilson in that ball game.
They laid the lumber to him.
Cedric Agawili Ostrom, the guy, AO, had 4 scores pretty much in the first quarter. 3 in the first quarter, the 1 in the first play in the second quarter. The guy was on fire. I think he had 5 scores for the night. Wyatt Smith had a great night. They didn't even show much of him either. But when they did show his arm, he was very effective, ran that team right down. They scored in their first 7 possessions of the game.
Here's the deal with, when was the last time the Grizzlies put up 55?
Dude, I'd have to go back, and I'm guessing...
Been a while.
I don't remember if they have in the time that I've been there, because I've been around the program since 2005, 2006. I don't even think it may have been.
It's been a long time.
It may have been before that.
Here's the deal with the Grizzlies. I think, and this injury to Dupuis is huge in a couple of different ways. I mean, number one, he's Smith's backup. He's out for 6 weeks, at least 6 weeks, with a broken arm. If Smith goes down,
we have to pull somebody out of the crowd, kind of like.
Can you say that? I mean, that's the Grizzlies' season is kind of a wash at that point.
No.
I mean, I don't know this Dubuis kid. I don't know how good of a backup he would have been, but the fact is he's backup.
You got to play the game, and you've got all these guys. You've got a freshman quarterback, you got a sophomore. I mean, you got guys on the team who can play quarterback, and I get it. But you've got AO in the backfield.
Give the ball to AO.
You've got, Adams. You've got a couple guys
Thorson.
who can play. Yeah, I mean, Odin had a great game. I mean, he didn't play last year, injuries, and they've got some guys. They've got some players.
I'm telling you, and I told you this, during the Jamboree, that the Grizzlies have a shot.
I'll be honest with you.
At that second or third spot.
I mocked you when you said that, didn't I?
You did mock me.
Yeah, I did, and rightfully so.
You did mock me.
Rightfully so, because they have on paper, no chance of doing that.
I'm telling you.
But you saw something in them that maybe...
Grizzlies, watch out for the Grizzlies. I think if they stay healthy, they win the games they're supposed to, and then they pull off at least one upset. I'm telling you, they're a playoff team. They might not dance deep in the playoffs.
After watching what happened first week of the season, Sprague killing South Salem. South is not that good this year.
Nope.
West Salem almost lost to McKay. McKay is going to be better.
Forest
Grove, yeah, which is, to be expected, but West Albany's probably better than they were last year. There's a possibility. We're going to know a little bit more after next week, because they've got McKay. McMinnville does. But then they've also got the three big teams of the past: South Salem, Sprague. West looks like they are beatable. South looks like they are beatable. But then we go back to what you talked about, injuries. So lots of stuff to talk about.
They need to win.
But
they need to win.
They got to play.
They have to win McKay. That should be a winnable game for them.
Yes. If they don't beat McKay, then it's all... Well, McKay's better, but they're still not going to be that good.
Right.
So, we'll see. It'll be fun.
I'm telling you, playoff team.
Friday night.
I don't think they danced. I don't think they go far in the playoffs, but it was like a couple of years ago when they got to the playoffs, and then they got to go to the University of Jesuit.
Yeah.
And then
a couple years, actually.
It was over at that point.
Yeah. Been there, done that. Played that game, don't like it.
We're not the only ones.
Exactly.
And so, hey, I'm Norm. That is Brian. Hey, we want some feedback. Clubhouse Chatter has been generally a baseball show. We've been kind of straying away a little bit from baseball the past weeks. Eddie Braun, which 2 weeks from today we'll know if he made the jump. Today we had Dr. J in his Bigfoot Force People story. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Should we stick with baseball, or should we continue on, kind of just looking for different stories? And shoot me an email, normbo18 at 18@gmail.com, and let me know. You can find us on Twitter, Clubhouse Chatter 1T, Facebook, Clubhouse Chatter, YouTube, MLB.com blogs. Let us know. We'd like to hear some feedback. So
I think we love to hear from you. Really.
I like it. I like it. I like the little bit, the different stories, and
we'll stay heavy in baseball.
Obviously, and mainly, I want to, people come on to stories that I'm interested in. And so, hey, I'm Norm. That's Brian. We are sponsored by baseballisms.com. If you like my shirt or my hat, you can find it on baseballisms.com. Baseballdudes.com. If you like Brian's hat, baseballdudes.com. To be the best, you must train like the best. Chris Gazelle up there in Vancouver, Washington. Also sponsored by Based by Pros, Mitch Canham. Playoff bound Mitch Canham, basedbypros.com. Mark Canham's dad does our shirts for Clubhouse Chatter, MDM Designs, and YamhillToday.com. We stream live every time, YamhillToday.com. Normbo18@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. And once again, you can find us on Twitter, Clubhouse Chatter 1T, Facebook, YouTube, iTunes, MLB.com blogs. Hey, are we back next week? Or I think next week you're in...
Yeah. Is it next week? What is today's date?
Taser 4th.
We're back next week.
We're back next week. It's the
we're
weekend
back.
after.
It's the weekend after, yes.
That you're going to be in Nebraska. Lincoln, Nebraska. Go Huskers.
Got my Huskers cat ready.
I'm Norm. That's Brian. Hey, have a great weekend. Enjoy your Labor Day. Thanks for watching.